muted. I've been muted the entire fucking time. You gotta be shitting me. Alright, I'm gonna do a little something different. I'm gonna play the match in its entirety, but I'm gonna insert the messages from the salty guy in between certain points. So the salty guy was the Laura, and his teammate he was swiffing with was the Nia. So we can just skip a couple of these. The killer was after me, chased me for a bit, and then I lost him. I got healed by the guy that he was swiffing with in Killer Shack. That guy got hooked. This is where it all, like, started. So I remember that there was a totem up here because I saw it with my map. So I was going to go cleanse it for my inner strength to be up for next time I was injured. The Laura, by the way, is doing the generator in the house right next to the hooked guy. This house right here. In the top right, that house. So he is the closest one to the hooked guy right now. Keep that in mind. So I did the totem, and I was like, okay, let's see if there's another one nearby. There was one literally in the house. So I was like, okay, might as well get it out of the way. Now pay close attention to the guy on the hook. Pay attention to his bar. He just tried a 4%. And the Nia led the guy to the house I was in. And by the way, the Nia is swiffing with the Laura, and yet the Laura is doing the gen in this house. So why'd the Nia lead him to the house that she was in? Pretty bad teammate, in my opinion. But yeah, she led him there. So even if I wanted to go for the save, I couldn't because the killer was right there in the house. He teleported away, but I didn't know to where. And that's when the guy gave up all the way to second stage. So now he's second stage. And last time I looked at the left, he was first stage. I knew that if I did this totem, I would still have enough time to get him before he went second stage, but I didn't realize that he was giving up. So I went to do the totem, and that's when this guy got off the gen. Then he jumped off the roof to go for the save. And that's when I noticed the guy was struggled, because this is the point where I noticed. And as you can see, boom, he gave up. So I ran over, and I was like, well, fuck. Can't do anything about that. He literally gave up. And I didn't realize he gave up either. I thought he was literally on there for actually, like, 2 minutes. But no, he literally just gave up. So then I was like, ah, fuck it. Might as well do the totems. Now, keep in mind, I recorded, like, 1/3 of the messages already, but my mic was muted in OBS, so we're doing it again. But I have nothing to do right now, so I'm fine with this. So anyways, I said, imagine losing after hiding the whole game. And, you know, I was just slightly frustrated. I was still laughing at the end when the guy downed me, but it was just frustrating that he literally hid the entire match. He did that half the gen in that one house, and then he never did a gen ever again. So that's why I said that. And he said, lol, I wasn't trying to win. I just wanted you dead. Left our teammate on hook doing blank totem like a dumbass. Now, this guy's probably a moron. I mean, look at the messages. Anyways, if he could look at the fucking icon of my perks, he would know that I have 3 totem perks. And I have a map, specifically for finding totems, but, you know, he could have known that from the map. But still, 3 totem perks. Because unlike them using these sweaty builds, like, you know, Dead Hard, Shoulder the Burden, Dead Hard Unbreakable, I wanted to do something more unique. Yeah, I know totem builds aren't unique, but barely anyone ever does them. I never see them, at least in my lobbies, so I thought I would do it. So, no, I wasn't doing a blank totem like a dumbass. I was doing a blank totem for my fucking perks. Anyways, I said I was across the map, which technically true, but not really. But this guy was still closer to the hooked guy than I was, so it doesn't really matter if I was actually across the map or not. He was still closer. GG, though. That satisfied me enough. You, however, were right next to him. Don't blame your teammates just because you couldn't unhook someone. And then he said, no, I wasn't. Even though he was the closest one to him. He wasn't literally right next to him, but, you know, he was the closest, so that's what I meant. And then I said, I saw you standing next to him, and this was after the fact that he already died on hook. Yes, because they killed themselves. Wait. Yes, because they killed themselves by the point I realized your ass wasn't getting them because you hopped on your 3rd totem the whole time, and I could have stood on my gen, and you could have unhooked them and healed them. You know, that's actually false. I couldn't have unhooked or healed them. You know why? Because they fucking gave up. If someone was paying attention, you would have known that. But clearly, none of us were paying attention. None of us were. I will admit, I wasn't paying attention to the left. But if you're going to write whole paragraphs to me saying how I didn't pay attention, how I could have gotten him, and then how I'm a dumbass, then I'm going to point out that you weren't fucking paying attention either. And then he said, but no, stupid TTV more worried about totems for blood points. You're a fucking joke. Take that TTV out of your name, please. Now, who cares if you're a joke or not? If you're a streamer, you can put TTV in your name. Hell, if you're not a streamer, you can put TTV in your name. It won't. It doesn't mean anything if you're not a streamer, but still, you can do it. Please. Thank you for correcting yourself, because I'm not sure what your name plead actually means. That's not why I was doing totems. You're embarrassing. Way to dodge the argument, by the way. I'm trying to explain to you why I was doing the totems, and you're just like, you're embarrassing. The only thing embarrassing is the fact that you're not even using the correct your, first of all. And the second reason why you're embarrassing is because you were literally next to the hooked guy, didn't get him off, and your teammate who you were literally in a swift with not only led the killer to your gen, but also to where I was. So I could not get the guy off the hook regardless of anything. And I says the guy messaged me crying. And he said, you messaged me first. Yes, I messaged first, but I wasn't messaging crying. I said imagine losing after hiding the whole game, because that's what he was doing. He was on that one gen, and only that one gen, didn't even finish it, and then he left. After that, he never touched a totem, a gen, anything. He didn't even unhook anyone. Didn't do a single thing for the rest of the game. He was just hiding behind cars in the basement. You're just ass and have no game sense. Well, you don't know how to spell, so I got you there, even though I'm dyslexic, by the way. I still spell better than this clown, though. And also, no game sense. Not only did this guy think I was closer when he was right next to the hook, he also didn't realize that the guy was giving up on hook. So, if I don't have any game sense, that's fine with me because neither do you, so it's a win-win for me. Just get better. You literally gave up. Already 10 times better than you because of that. Because your died, that's all I cared about. I didn't feel like looking for hatch hints. Why I didn't run and just let him kill me. Now, what the fuck is a hatch hint? What is a hatch hint? What is that? Does the Riddler come down from the fog and give you a riddle as to where the hatch is after it spawns? No. What the fuck is a hatch hint? Someone please tell me in the comments. If that's all you cared about, then you're admitting that you're a bad teammate as well. Valid. I'm just making a valid point there. He's calling me an ass teammate, but he's saying that he didn't care about winning the game. Okay, so you're a bad teammate too. So if I'm a bad teammate, at least you are too. Again, that's a win-win. So don't even try to call me bad. I'm a bad teammate when my teammates are ass. Well, none of your teammates were ass that game. So apparently you're a bad teammate when your teammates are ass, and you're just a bad teammate in general. So you were the only one who was. And then he sent me this fucking clip, and I said Lamel to the other thing I sent, not the clip. How I go back for my teammates when they aren't ass. Also, in that clip, by the way, he went back for his teammate after the endgame collapse happened, and the killer wasn't even chasing them. The killer gave up. So that was pretty hilarious. I said, congratulations, that must be your first win in this game. No, I've been playing for a few months now. Oh, I know. A little shade. But okay, have a great day, piece of shit. And I said, it took you that long to get a win. And I said, you too. You can have a great day too. Also, if you continue to do that poorly as a survivor on purpose, you should probably go play a different game. Just stating facts. As I said, did it on purpose because you sold our whole game. No, I didn't. Who sees one teammate and chase one doing a gen with good progress? It was 30 fucking %, maybe 40. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. It was like 40%. Not very good progress in my opinion. Gonna be like you. Let me. Oh, gonna be like, yeah, let me cleanse 3 totems. Yeah, buddy, you need to get better at the game, not me. You could tell it got under his skin with that comment that I said. No, I am better at the game than you. And also, apparently he's been playing for a couple months. He already has 1,500 hours. In a couple months? Damn, you have no life. Anyways, I don't have a life either, so I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I'm just saying he has no life also. So yeah, apparently he has a lot of game sense and I don't. But a 40% on a gen is really, really, it's a lot. And also, one guy was in chase and you were on a gen, yes. But I was in the house below you after you were already next to the hook guy for a solid like 30 seconds and didn't get him. So if he went to just get the hook guy, I would have went upstairs and finished the gen for him while he was unhooking him. But once again, none of this even matters because the guy gave up. So we couldn't even get him anyways. The guy gave up on hook. That's not my fault. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed, but yes, the Nia did disconnect right here. And according to the Laura, the Nia disconnected because I didn't unhook the guy. My bad. My bad the killer was led to the house I was in. My bad that the guy literally gave up and I couldn't save him anyways. That's on me. My bad. Oh, and keep in mind, the Laura was closer. This guy got hooked when I was in House of Pain, so the Laura was literally right next to him, and she didn't get him off the hook either. So yeah, I did the totem after that guy DC'd. Boom, boom, boom. Did this totem too. Went upstairs. Dropped down, healed this guy. Fully, by the way. I healed this guy off the ground and then healed him to full health. So, bad. I'm an ass teammate, by the way. So yeah, and as you can see, he's literally just behind the killer pointing at me. I 360'd him into the guy. Auto-aim just locked him on there. Then he's still pointing at me, by the way. Then he gets down. Forced hesitation happens, and I'm too slow to get away. And then at some point, I got over here. And at this point, I was like, yeah, fuck it. Just kill me. Because there's nothing I could have done. He teleported here, and then he downed me. And when he downed me, I was just laughing. Like, I was just laughing because it was fun. I don't care if I'm losing, unlike this guy. It was just fun. He hooks me, and then I start giving up because he was in the basement, assuming waiting for hatch. And then I die. And I did report this guy for working with the killer because he was literally just pointing at me, telling the killer to get me. Killer obviously didn't have to listen, but it's still reportable, so I went ahead and did that. He gave up because he saw exactly why all we did, Nia was my duo. He gave up because he saw exactly why we all did, Nia was my duo. What the fuck am I reading, dude? Was this written by a toddler? Okay, hold on. He gave up because he gave up because he saw exactly why we all did. No one gave up at that point, so that doesn't make any sense. Nia was my duo. Thanks for that information. That has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. And no, he gave up because it was 5 gens on a really tiny map against Singularity, who I think is S tier. A lot of people would disagree. I don't really care if you disagree. Make your own tier list if you disagree with that. But he is S tier in my books. That's why he DC, LOL, because of you. He's talking about his teammate, by the way, Nia, his Swift partner. So, yeah, apparently the Nia DC'd because of me, even though I didn't do a single thing. If anything, the Nia, like, leading the killer to you when you're in a Swift, maybe it should have made you DC. But, yeah, he DC'd because he's a baby and he can't handle the fact that someone gave up and he's trying to blame it on someone else, which is me, by the way. I have a challenge to cleanse 20 totems. Maybe instead of blaming all your problems on me, you should ask why I was doing it. Nobody likes brain-dead teammates. That's why no one likes being... That's why no one likes you being on their team. Yep. I don't like calling people brain-dead. I think it's a little ableist. But if he's going to say it to me, then I'm going to phrase it in a way that I'm saying it to him. But I'm not actually going to say it, you know? You're reflecting my heart. It's okay. What the fuck does that mean? Bro really had to change the subject because that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. No one's talking about your stupid heart. What? And that's how I know I've won the argument. I'm not changing the topic. You did, but okay. I'm saying what it is if you got challenges. That's cool, but do them when your team's in a good spot. Is that not common sense, LOL? Again, these are challenges we're talking about. I can do them whenever the fuck I want to. It doesn't matter if our teammate's doing shitty. It doesn't matter if our teammate's doing good or just, like, in the middle. I can do them whenever the fuck I want. There are 5 totems per match, so even if I did all 5 totems, it would still take me an entire 4 trials just to get the challenge done. Not only that, but a lot of times, my teammate might cleanse a totem. Then that's a whole nother match added. So... what the fuck is this guy talking about? I can do my challenge whenever I want. Doesn't matter if we're in a good spot or not. But who said I have to do it when my team's in a good spot? I'm allowed to do my challenges when I want to. That right there just shows me you're an ads teammate and don't think about your team, just yourself. So who revived you off the ground and then healed you to full health when you were down. Oh yeah, that's right. I did. If I didn't care about my team, if I only cared about myself, I would have left you slugged in the middle of the road. And you have Unbreakable anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But I could have done that and waited for Hatch. Could have done that and waited for Hatch. And I didn't. You know why? Because I'm not an ads teammate, as you claim. I'm actually a good teammate. Or decent, at least I think so. So go keep selling your teammates. I blocked you, so I won't be another one. Thank God. Now, if you block someone on Steam, you can't get their matches anymore. But on PlayStation, it's different. If you block someone on PlayStation, you can still be in a match with them. You can't join a lobby with them. Like, you can't, like, if you're in a lobby, like, not the pregame lobby with the killer and other teammates. If you're just by yourself in a lobby, they can't join you. But, however, you can randomly get into a pregame lobby with them. So blocking me does nothing, buddy. And I think you want me to be on your team because I'm actually a good solo queue teammate. You're literally talking about yourself. Yes, because he literally sold. He literally stood still, let the killer down him, and then pointed towards me. Shut the fuck up already, please. That's not how blocking works, LMAO. And then I said, you keep responding to me. He told me to shut the fuck up. I said, you keep responding to me. You could have just left it, been the bigger person. But no, you kept the argument going. And if someone's having an argument with you and you don't respond, that's just a sign to them like, oh, that guy lost. So if I don't respond, I lose the argument. No, I'm going to defend my side of the story that he's not even listening to. And that's the end, by the way. Yeah. Sorry, this video is a little scuffed. Because as I said, I already recorded it earlier. But my mic was muted, so I had to re-record the entire thing. But anyway, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Twitch, link below, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye-bye.